Homesteading is a lifestyle choice. Whether you have a large or small space, you can move towards self-sufficiency. Start with what you need and add more as you can. Start small and grow in confidence. Start with the basics and increase your knowledge. At Bryant's Roost, we believe in sustainability, education, and forward momentum. Follow us on our journey for tips, hacks, and insights. We can grow together.
These brooders are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Coturnix Corner Live. Glad you guys could join us tonight. I know it's been a while since we've gone live, but as usual, things are a little bit crazy over here. I don't have my, you can probably tell by the scene behind me, I don't have my regular setup set back up yet. It's probably going to be at least another week or two before I'm able to do that. So you'll have to bear with me as far as like changing scenes and stuff here. It's a little bit slower because I've got to do it manually. I don't have all my equipment set up. So for those of you who didn't catch our last live, we had a special guest on, Bree Patz. She joined us. She is from the Pips and Chicks website, and she talked about doing the virtual quail show, all the requirements and whatnot, if you wanted to enter any birds in that. And I know I just want to say that she is looking for junior members to sign up for that show. I'm not sure how many she's got now. The last time I checked, she only had a couple. But if you're interested, or if you have kids that are interested that want to enter, some of their quail into the virtual show, I guess it's really easy to get set up. I did clip out the video from the live stream of just Bree and all her information, so you guys can just watch that. It'll make it a lot easier than having to sit through an hour-long live stream. So if you're interested in the virtual quail show, check that out. Bree does a really nice job on the show. She's got a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great prizes for you guys that you can win, and the judges are, from what I understand, some of the top people in the world are judging the contest. So, and she wanted to make it too known that it's not just for people who have the top bloodlines and colors and whatnot. Anything that you may have hatched out from, say, like Thieving Otter Farm lines or Bryant's Roost lines, or even your own lines, they're qualified to be entered into the show. And it's a good way to get some feedback on your birds. Okay, I do have a few announcements that I want to make before we jump over into the chat room. As always, shout out to our sponsors. We have Hatching Time, Thieving Otter Farm, Gopher Ridge Quail, and Bryant's Roost. These guys do a lot for the channel. Not only do they do the giveaways on the live streams, but they also, like Hatching Time, Thieving Otter Farm, Bryant's Roost, all donate stuff for the Coturnix Kids program, as far as prizes and whatnot to give away to the kids. So much appreciate the sponsors. I really appreciate what they do for the channel and what they do for you guys as far as the giveaways and whatnot. And they're really good. All these people are great people as far as if you wanted to order hatching eggs. All three of our sponsors that sell hatching eggs are some of the tops lines in the country. And then Hatching Time, everybody knows Hatching Time. They've got, basically the cage setups that I used to use in my quail setup, and probably the top incubators available out there. Let's see, what else we got? Speaking of the Coturnix Kid program, we're looking for more entries into that. If you have kids that are interested in signing into that, hold on, I just had an email pop up. Hold on a second, get rid of that. If you have kids that are interested in getting into the Coturnix Kids program, it's a really neat program where the kids submit a little write up or an entry that explains or tells a little bit about what they've done um, to help out another person or another group of people. Um, if you head over to coturnixcorner.com, the Coturnix Corner community, there is a link at the top of the page. It'll give you all the information, um, and you can see some of the um, entries that are already in there. If you need an idea of whatnot. So head on over to coturnixcorner.com if you have kids that are interested, and get them signed up for that. I want to thank our judges for that thing. They do a wonderful job every month of selecting a new winner. Um, and it kind of frees me up a little bit. I don't have to, to be selecting the winner every month. So that really helps me out. And I do want to say that the Coturnix Corner community just hit it's major for ours because it's kind of a small group, but we've hit 5,000 members. And that's pretty good, for a standalone community, which it's basically like a Facebook group, but it's standalone, and it's nice because we don't have all the drama like you get on Facebook and whatnot, and don't have to abide by all the crazy rules. And speaking of Facebook and crazy rules, I got busted, guys, on Facebook. Something that I posted 4 years ago, they flagged me for last week, and they put me in Facebook jail. Um, it was totally ridiculous. They said that the content was inappropriate for Facebook and goes against their community rules. But I'll tell you what, guys. I went back. I mean, this post was 4 years old, and I went back and I looked at the image, and all I can say is if you've ever seen the Coppertone commercial where you've got the dog pulling on the little girl's bathing suit, it was something as innocent as that, and Facebook made it out to be some, I don't know, just the perversion that must go on in the minds of the people over there. It's nuts. But anyhow, what's your bail? Nah, no bail. I did my time. So anyhow, that's if anybody noticed, I wasn't around for a few days on Facebook, and that's why I actually got I'm still not in jail, but I have some restrictions on my account that last until the middle of June, I believe it is, as a further punishment for this. So yeah, Facebook and all their infinite wisdom, unbelievable. We are going to be doing some giveaways tonight, guys, as always. Um, I believe we're doing a giveaway from every one of our sponsors. So Bryant's Roost and Gopher's Ridge has a 30 count of hatching eggs. And Thieving Otter Farm, I'm not sure exactly I'm not sure if it's a 20 count or a 30 count. But so 3 people are going to get some hatching eggs tonight. And then we're also going to give away a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate to one lucky winner. So you don't have to do anything specific to be entered into the prizes or the giveaways. We'll just select a few people from the chat room. We're going to go over there in a little bit and see what you guys are up to. D says you're out on probation. Yeah, I guess so. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, they're actually the ones losing out. They're saying that I can't post any ads for Gulf Coast quail, but fine, they're losing the money, not me, so I don't really care. I also want to give a shout out for you guys that are just getting into quail and are looking for, or even people that have been around for a while and are looking for a place where you can, pick up some information, do some serious in-depth learning. Check out Quailology. That is run by Michael Rose, and it is an online course where you can go there. Mike does a great job of uh, walking you through everything from A to Z as far as quail are concerned. He's actually got two courses. One is more of a quail raising course just for the average person, and then he's got one dedicated strictly to business owners that want to get into doing quail, commercially or as a business. So um, check that out. The address right now is ccquail.com. I'll go ahead and type that in here. If you guys notice I'm looking away, it's because I've got two computers here, and one is running my live streaming software, and the other is for my comments and what what's going on over on YouTube. So that's why I keep looking back and forth. Okay, there's the link to that, ccquail.com. The website is Quailology, and it's run by Michael Rose. Check it out. It is a pay site, but it's very reasonable, and the information that you guys will get from that site you cannot find anywhere else on the internet. It's basically like, Michael's holding your hand, walking you through every step of the way, and just I believe he's even available for email consultation or conferences. Might even be in person on phone. You'll have to check out the site on that. But anyhow, last thing I want to say before we jump over into the chat room is about the new, well, it's not really new, but it's our incubator kit, the DIY mini incubator kit, which is basically a resized version of the incubator that we build here on the channel. This one holds 120 eggs. This kit is really simple to put together, guys. I mean, it'll only go together one way, and you really can't mess it up at all. There's a soda bottle there to kind of give you an idea on the height of it, and yeah, it's basically a tabletop incubator. But what I'm thinking of doing, guys, and I don't know if you'd be interested, but if you want to comment over in the chat room, I'm thinking about doing a giveaway of one of those incubator kits, whether it's on the Coturnix Corner website or the Facebook group or a combination of both. I'm trying to come up with some type of a contest or something that we can do to give somebody a free incubator. You're going to get the incubators, be free shipping and everything. The only thing you'll have to pick up is like the regulator, which is like $20, and then the heating elements, which this one does. You can either use light bulbs or you can use those ceramic reptile heating bulbs. They work really well in this one also. So keep an eye on Coturnix Corner Facebook group or coturnixcorner.com, and we'll post what kind of a contest that we want to do to give one away, and when that will take place. So if you guys have any ideas for a contest, post them over here in the group. I was going to do a photo contest for quail. That kind of ran through my mind, but I think I'm going to hold off on that because we do a photo contest over on the Facebook group page, where your photo gets to be the header banner for Coturnix Corner Facebook group. Matter of fact, let me go over there. I'm trying to see when that. I believe that banner has another month or so to go before we're due to a next one. But I'll post that also over in the Facebook group. You guys can take it from there. So I think that's about it. One other thing. Farm introduction. This is something that we do when we go live. If we have somebody that wants to come on the show with us and introduce their farm, maybe show some pictures, tell us a little bit about what they have. I'm looking for people that want to come on Coturnix Corner Live and basically do a farm introduction. So if you're interested in that, say you're just getting started, or just want to get your name out there a little bit, email me, terry@coturnixcorner.com, and we'll set something up. We'll bring you on the show. Like I say, you can show pictures, videos, whatever you want of your farm or your quail setup, and just basically introduce yourself to the community. Okay, let's go ahead and jump over into the chat room. I'm seeing some ideas coming up for the. Okay, let me see where we're at. I'm going to kind of watch both computers because I have one that's showing me the most recent comments, and then I have one that goes back to the beginning showing me the comments since we started the live. And boy, I can really tell, guys, how much not going live is affecting my viewership. Normally on a live stream, we have anywhere between 50 and 100 people live or concurrent at one time, and we're down to like 25 now. So that is telling me that you guys aren't normally expect the lives on Tuesday. When I don't go live for a couple weeks, you don't know whether or not. So yeah, it's really affecting my viewership. So we've got to do something about that. All right, Samantha Stratton's in the house, says welcome back. Thank you, Samantha. Joy Guthrie says hello all from Western Oregon. Dee's in the house, says howdy from Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've got a cousin that lives out in Arlington, which I know isn't too far from you guys. Olive's in the house, says howdy from California. Glad you could join us, Olive. And I did see your post later about your delivery. We'll get to that shortly. Quail Ridge Ranch is in the house, says hi. Oh, there's that name again that I can't pronounce. Leviathan. If I butchered your name, I apologize. But thanks for joining us, and welcome to the live stream. Mike Kimball's in the house, says hi from Kansas. Hannah Bishop says hi from Minnesota. Glad you could join us, Hannah. Heige Homestead. Another one that I can't pronounce. Oh, my leg's falling asleep, dog. You got to sit up. Cookie's with me today, by the way. Cookie, by the way, is pregnant. Well, we're hoping she's pregnant. She bred about a month ago. Is it a month now? It'll be a month and 7 days. So hopefully we'll be having some puppies here for long. Dee says, glad you're out of fake book jail. What did you do this time? LOL. Yeah, I didn't really do anything. Like I say, what happened 4 years ago, and I guess it was okay back then, but now they don't like it. So, John says hello from Akron, Ohio. Glad you could join us, John. Don's in the house, says hello everyone from South Mississippi. Glad you could join us, Don. A. Jones says hi all, checking in from the northeast tip of Ohio. Glad you could join us. Gina Klatt says hello from Wisconsin. Olive says, I submitted some of my entries, very easy and fun. Can't wait for the feedback from the judges. I definitely recommend to people who are interested, especially people like me who've never done a show before. Yeah, I agree. I think that the virtual show is the way they've set it up, and the people that they have running this and judging the contest. They're great people. They have a wealth of knowledge. So, just getting feedback from them on your birds is really going to help you out. I know that from what Bree said on her appearance on the show, that they're really judging for type and structure of the bird, not so much color. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll really help, especially newbies that are just getting into it. Stream quality. My stream quality dropped. Must have a poor internet connection today. Megan's in the house. Oh, y'all. Probably hi, y'all, from Austin, Texas. I hope all are doing well. Thank you, Megan. Glad you could join us. Ava Diamond says, "Hi, Gina. I'm formerly from Wausau, now in Georgia, I think. Well, glad you could join us anyhow." Pamela says, "Hi from Southern California. Congrats on the 5K." Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but I think we started that group, I want to say 3 years ago. And like I say, it's been real, it's been slow. But, when you're trying to compete with, a site like Facebook, they just got the numbers and everything. And it's funny because originally I just built that site as an alternative to Facebook because a few years back, Facebook was threatening to shut down Coturnix Corner due to people posting live animals for sale in the group, which is why I'm so picky about, making sure that people don't post hatching eggs or live birds or whatever, because I don't want the group to get shut down. So, but anyhow, like I say, 3 years, 5K. It's a good group of people over there too. I mean, everybody's really helpful. We've got a few over there that are pretty much the regulars. I mean, they're there pretty much every day. Um, so yeah, check it out if you're interested. It's coturnixcorner.com. Dee says, "How much was the bail your wife had to post?" She didn't help me out at all. Night Watcher says, "What? Inappropriate? That's crazy." Yep, exactly. Okay, Gina's talking to Ava. Eunice. Hello from Casablanca. Hello, glad you could join us. Seeking Balance says, "Question: How should I keep my eggs before I incubate them?" If you're just collecting eggs, so you can have a few more eggs to incubate, probably the best way to do it is to put them like on a counter top somewhere. Put them in a something that can keep the eggs pointy end down. Something to hold the eggs, and make sure they're in an area where they're not going to get bumped or knocked over or whatever, and not too hot, like anywhere from 60 to say 65 to 75 degrees would be about perfect. I actually keep mine when I'm collecting them in a little dorm refrigerator that I have. I've got the temperature turned all the way up, so it's like 55 degrees in there, and but it's really hot in my shop, which is why I do that. And I've always had good hatch rates doing that. So D says, "You're out on probation. How do they have time to keep watching you for a mess up?" I have no idea. I mean, it's not so much the fact that I got busted for something, which I don't see why I even got busted. But the point, I wish I could share that photo with you guys. They called that photo basically child pornography, is what they were saying, and they didn't come out and say that, but that's what they were referring to. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Anybody that, like I say, if you looked at the Copper Tone commercial where the dog's pulling the girl's bathing suit bottom down a little bit, it was no different than that. And the photo was so far away you could just barely tell, that the little kid was actually mooning the camera is what it was, and it was funny. But anyhow, the fact that Facebook and their people think that is child porn is, to me, it was total innocence. I don't know. Times have changed, people. Anyhow, Melissa says, "Hi everyone, Central California noob here. Glad you could join us, Melissa." Olive says, "I won last time and USPS beat up the package and dropped it over my fence too. I let USPS know and I'm crossing my fingers." Oh wow! Oh, that shipment that you got. I forgot who you got them from, but wow! I hope your eggs, weren't destroyed, and you at least get some of them to hatch. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, USPS, they really don't care. I noticed one thing, and when I was shipping eggs, I never marked the package as to what was in it. Main reason is you put, I see people shipping packages that say live quail eggs or live hatching eggs or future baby quail. That's just an invite to me. That's just an invite for USPS to beat the crap out of your package. Rick says, enjoy your content. Appreciate that, Rick. We enjoy bringing it to you when when we actually bring it to you. I just been so busy around here, guys. I mean, it's going on the end of May, almost June, and I still haven't got my quail set up out back the way I wanted to. I planned on having birds hatching out, towards the end of January of this year, and I have yet to get my cages built. I've been so busy back there. I've got a little bee yard that I finished off. I've got my Rhode Island red chickens that I moved from one side of the yard to the other, and they're actually in my old aviary, so I moved the whole aviary over. And now I guess it's time for quail. I guess I got to get back into them. But with the heat of summer coming up, I'm kind of worried about that too. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. James, okay. Question: how important do you think it is to have coated wire over galvanized for the floor? Very important. When I first started out with quail, I had just bare 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch galvanized wire, and I ran into all kinds of feet problems, foot problems. They were getting cut, and it was just all kinds of issues. And once I went to the 1/2 inch by 1 inch coated, all my foot issues totally went away. And same with the hatching time cages, because they've got the wider gauge flooring, I guess you'd say. It's real easy on the bird's feet. So Ava says, love the incubator name. Thank you. And actually, somebody on the channel thought of that. It wasn't even me. It was just somebody said, because I was calling it the DIY box for the longest time. And somebody said, I want to order a Terry Baiter or something. And I'm like, yeah, we could kind of stick with that name. So, yeah. Hannah Bishop says, yes, do a giveaway. Megan says a mini would be great. Mike says, hand pink waving. Hey, Mike, glad you could join us. Sun Fun 4751. Too bad your name isn't Peter. Yeah, right. Gina says, I just heard my first rooster call 2 days ago from my babies, who in turn are 5 weeks old, on Friday. Oh, cool. Speaking of rooster, my rooster just attacked my wife today and attacked me yesterday. Normally he's pretty mellow. It's a Rhode Island red rooster. But my wife was out hanging up laundry. I guess he didn't want her out there, so he chased her around the yard. Olive says, that would be awesome. Hope whoever wins it or does a post or a vid on it. Yeah, I kind of like that idea also. I was going to do another video on the small incubator, because I actually built one for myself that replaced my 240 egg incubator, because I really didn't need. I wanted the 120 for basically hatching out eggs. I didn't need the 240 anymore. I do have a hatching time CT60 that I do all my incubating in, and then I use the DIY box as a hatcher. Megan says, do a raffle, say donations for the youth. Sorry, that's an idea. The only thing I don't like about that idea is then I've got to have a way of collecting the money and this and that. So, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll think about it. D says, I want to do the most colorful quail egg contest. I love looking at the different ones. No two eggs are marked the same ever. I find that amazing. I just enjoy looking at different eggs. Yeah, I did too. When I was collecting my eggs, I would always for some reason, the ones that jumped out to me the most seem to be the ones that got collected for incubating. Um, I just like it, a real nicely patterned egg that's, not doesn't have all the calcium dust on it and everything. Nice shiny egg. Megan says, "D, I like the idea." Sun Fun says the Peter Bader might land you in Facebook jail again, though. Yeah, I don't care about Facebook anymore. Um, okay. D says that would be fun. No camera on my PC, though. Megan says I was thinking Peterbilt trucks when he suggested it. Mike Kimball says, how long ago did they start the white quail at Texas A&M? I'm not sure on an exact date. From what I understand, I believe it was in the mid to late 70s was that project. And I'm not sure how long it ran or when they discontinued it. Um, like I say, I just know about the project from people talking about it and talking with other breeders and whatnot. So that would be a good question for someone like say Michael Rose or Robbie Richard. Um, they've been around long enough, that they would probably know. Del Boy says hi from Derek from New Zealand. Cool, glad you could join us from New Zealand. D says, I'm in Arlington, Southwest Arlington. Cool. Like I say, I got a cousin out there. I don't know exactly where in Arlington she is. I visited her once 20 years ago, I think it was. So I couldn't even tell you whereabouts it was. D says, does your relative want to hatch out eggs or share with me? I'm getting 128 a day. If you're talking about my cousin out there in Arlington, she does not keep animals. I don't even think I think she has a pet cat. And that's about it. Ethan says, question, any good summer tips for outdoor quail? Yeah, make sure that they have a way, depending on where you're at, make sure that they have a way to get out of the weather. Both heat and, rain, high wind, stuff like that. Um, I had mine in an aviary for a while out back, and they did really well. The only thing I had to do was in the heat of summer, I had to make sure that I had what I did was I put some lattice up on the east side of the aviary, and I planted some plants and let them climb up the lattice, and that provided them shade when that morning sun was hitting down on them. And then during the afternoon they were all fine because I had shade from the other side from a monster oak tree in my yard. But yeah, just make sure, like I say, they have a way to get out of the weather. Make sure that you have whatever you're keeping them in is very predator proof. I've read so many stories on, the Facebook group, Coturnix Corner, about people losing birds to, predators, whether it's snakes, raccoons, possums, neighbors' dogs, you name it. So, yeah, just make sure that your cages are good and tough, and we'll keep predators out of it. Gina says, I have an alarm set so I don't miss Coturnix Corner Tuesday, so I can at least check to see if you're on. Yeah, that's my fault, guys. I've just been kind of sidetracked lately. Been doing a lot of building of beehives and whatnot. Did a bunch of work out in the yard building. I actually, over on one side of my yard where I keep my bees, I actually put up they call it a flyaway fence. It's kind of like a 6-foot high fence that when the bees come out of the hive, they've got to go up instead of flying straight across the yard at you. Just makes it a little bit nicer for the neighbors, so they don't have to worry about bees. Deanna says, glad to see you live again. Well, glad to be here live again. It's about time, huh? Lavia than like Leviathan. I just spelled it uniquely so you didn't have to use numbers or special. Okay. Corey says, good evening, new to quail, and we have a severe storm coming in. Will my quail go on their own or should I put them in? Will they go in on their own? Well, if you're trying to free range them, I would not expect them to go back into their housing. If they're in their housing and you've got like a protected area, um, sometimes they'll get out of the weather. Sometimes, I mean, I've had quail sit out in thunderstorms and it didn't seem to bother them at all. You know, they didn't seem to be affected by it. Um, I think if it's going to be an issue, um, hopefully they would be smart enough to get out of the weather. But if you're worried about it, you can go out and run them all in just to make sure. Dustin says, checking in from Waynesville, Georgia. Glad you could join us, Dustin. Quail Ridge Ranch says, puppies are the best. Hopefully we'll be getting a Bernedoodle puppy soon. Cool. My niece has a Bernedoodle. Yeah, they're cool dogs. Sun Fun says, one thing I underestimated when I started was how many cages I would need for my 30 birds. I needed to separate, cull, and a hospital cage. Yep. Yeah, I did the same thing, but my problem was I needed more birds. So I kept buying more cages or building more. Kaylee says here from Montgomery, Texas. Glad you could join us, Kaylee. Dee says, I'm learning a lot in the Facebook group. And she says, I had a mass escape a few days ago. Top cage door, had the door propped open. No idea how that happened. Had 50 quail on the floor in an 8x8 pen. Had to use a board to catch them. Wow. I've done that once inside my shop. I left a cage open, but I think there was only like 15 or 20 birds in there that got out. But yeah, I know what you mean. Gina says, question, what are some good things to document when raising quail? Mine are in a mixed flock in an aviary. On my birds, basically what I was documenting was egg laying, weight, fertility rates. It's going to be a little bit different in an aviary because you really don't know who's doing what. I mean, yeah, weighing them, you can do them separately and weigh them, but yeah, I would let's see. I would just make notes when you're out there. If you notice one or two birds that seem to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe jot that down as long as you can ID the birds later on, or like I say, you're not really going to be able to tell who's laying eggs. So production-wise, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do that. But yeah, I think like with my aviary, the birds were pretty laid back. I just kind of watched them. When I went out there, I would usually sit in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and just watch the birds. Mainly checking them for health, looking for any issues that I was having. With some of the birds, were they all nicely filled out, so I knew they were eating well. None of them looked sickly or anything. So, yeah, stuff like that. It's like I say, in an aviary setting, it's a little bit different than keeping your birds, in a cage where it's a little bit easier to tell what's going on. So, Bruce says hi from Central Pennsylvania. Glad you could join us, Bruce. Dee says, have you seen the ad? They say sex sells. It seems like that's how they use for advertising anymore. Ethan says, will summer heat affect hatching eggs, even collecting twice a day? Not really. I mean, I've collected eggs all summer long, and never had issues with them. But if you're collecting twice, it says, my uncle's using your cage build tutorial to build me an outdoor unit. Only 4 tiers because I'm 5 foot nothing. Yeah, well, four tiers are still higher than mine. Mine were only 3 tiers. And I had a hard time sometimes reaching into that top cage. I would always have either a step stool, or in some of the flat cages that didn't have the egg rollout, I had a little, it was actually a back scratcher that I used to reach in there and pull the eggs forward so I could reach them. But cool. Good luck on the build. Frederick says, hey everybody, I'm always happy to find a surprise Coturnix corner stream when I randomly look at my phone. Olive says a few of the box corners were crushed in pretty good. One side was dented in. Foam was split a bit. I don't know if it was maybe from eggs being put in it. I was convinced they would be mashed. Eggs were, I don't know what, eggs were C, I don't know. Excuse me. Seeking Balance says, how old can the eggs be before I incubate them? I try to get them in an incubator before 10 days, actually closer to 7 or 8 days, but you can go as far as 10 days. Okay, Olives, here's the rest of it. Seemingly intact, no mashed eggs. I didn't candle for cracks, as I'll check for empty eggs and micro cracks before lockdown anyways, and I didn't want to handle it more than D says most colorful egg. We would have to vote on that. D says, are there quail shows at county fairs? I know you have the Buff Orpingtons. Some county fairs have quail shows. Check with Bree Patz on that. She's over on Facebook. She can help you out with the shows. Antonio says, still thinking of getting Pharaoh for your first quail. What is your favorite colors? I was always into anything that had the regine, like the Egyptians, red pansies. I love the regine. Okay, Mike says, I was just wondering because someone was advertising Texas A&M quail for sale. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They say that the white birds, the dotted whites, they call them Texas A&Ms, but they're really not. Olive says, Brian's Roost eggs, amazingly durable packaging at least. Yeah, Jennifer does a good job of packaging her eggs. D says, I finally ran 2 long extension cords from my room out the window to the 8x8 quail pen, put in a big fan. The quail are noticeably less stressed, not much panting, or no, not panting as much. They never dropped in egg production. Cool. Mr. Mata says, how long do you keep a breeding set for? Normally no more than 1 year. Usually I rotate out my hens at about 8 months. John says, what incubator do you suggest for smaller batches, less than 50? Any of the Barato units or the Brinzies. They're all pretty much, I won't say plug and play, but they're quality incubators. If you want to spend a little bit more, you could do the Hatching Time CT60, and that is a plug and play incubator, and my hatch rates have skyrocketed since using the CT60. D says, do quail like to eat black soldier flyworms? My cultures are doing very well and spreading everywhere. The worms eat the spilled quail feed. I'm down to almost no waste feed now. Oh, nice. Yeah, they'll eat the larva. I actually got a bag sent to me of black soldier fly larva that freeze dried, and I had to break it up a little bit, but they liked it. But if you want to feed them live worms, I know they'll go for them because mine, the ones out in the aviary, did all the time. Yeah, you butchered my phonetic spelling. Just stick with James. You got it, James. That I can remember. Libby says, hello from Central Texas. Glad you could join us. Olive says, John, the Mattacupix 30 fits about 50. I'm obsessed with it. and I get the best hatch rate. John says, do you ever use a water-soluble nutrient to be an additive from quail feed? I give my birds, it's a vitamin electrolyte supplement, especially in the heat of the summer. And it is, I'm trying to think of the name. Oh, Lord. I haven't looked at it in so long, I can't remember what the name of the stuff is. It is a vitamin electrolyte supplement. Oh, Lord. If I think of it, I'll put it on here. Or if somebody knows from me mentioning it before. Oh, man, I could see the package. I just can't remember what the name of it is. But yes, I do use that during the heat of summer. It really seems to help. I used to do it when I was hatching out chicks. I would mix up a really weak solution and give that to my chicks, for their first round of watering. But after talking with a few people, Michael Rose included, they said I really didn't need to do it for the chicks. They do just fine on straight water. D says I use a back scratch wooden thing too. Dollar Tree buy. They're the perfect size. Have the hook on the end for pulling eggs towards the cage door. Yep. That's exactly why I use mine. Ultima says you don't post anymore. Everything going okay in a while, and I haven't had any videos since January. Actually, I did a couple of videos on incubators first part of the year, and the reason is I don't have any quail. So I mean, it's kind of hard to do quail videos when you don't have any quail. As soon as I get back to where I've got a setup, I'll probably document that on video. And once I get birds, going again, we'll document all that stuff again. So yeah, it's coming. It's just a little bit slower than I expected, and I apologize for that. Ethan says, question: what's a good age to put birds outside? Tried to put 6 4 to 5 week olds out with a group of 4 laying hens that got bullied, bloody. 2 made it, the other got put down. Well, the 4 to 5 weeks old are fine age-wise to go outside because they're fully feathered at 4 weeks. So they could go outside. That's not a problem. The problem you're running into is obviously introducing them into a group of established laying hens. They were probably trying to, establish a pecking order and got a little bit, too rough on them. What you could have done is split your cage, where you've got your outdoor cage with your laying hens. Split that in half with like a wire divider, and then put your younger birds on one side, your older birds on the other side, and give them a couple weeks like that just to get used to each other. And then, just one day take that divider out and sit back and watch them just to make sure that you're not going to have any aggression. But I would think that, after a little bit of being able to interact through the wire, they should be all right that way. D says, the whites that I have are much smaller than the jumbo browns. What happens if I cross them? Do you know what hybrid vigor is? You can cross them. You're going to end up with some Pharaoh tuxedos. As far as hybrid vigor, you're not really. I mean, yeah, you're crossing color, but you're not really crossing unless they're two totally unrelated genetically stock. Then yes, you can cross them, and the hybrid vigor will play a part into that. I don't know how much of a benefit you're going to get from it. I've never noticed it. And I guess I really wasn't trying to, I'm thinking of other animals that are easier. You have different breeds of, like dogs or chickens and whatnot, crossing them. But these are all Coturnix. The only difference is the color. So, yeah, I don't know, D. That's a good one thing. But crossing your whites with the jumbo browns, you're just going to end up with some tuxedos. Pet Country's in the house. Good to see you again. Hello, Mr. Terry. Do you plan on raising quail again outside? I do. It's just a matter of me getting off my lazy butt and doing something. Let's see. Fred says, Fred and Sally from North Carolina. Glad you could join us. Fat Country, how are the Silkies and Rhode Island Reds doing? The Rhode Island Reds are doing really well. All my hens are laying. I actually set, I want to say 18 eggs last month. They already hatched out, and I already sold them. But I just wanted to make sure that the rooster was fertile and he was doing his job, so I did a test hatch, and that turned out good. The Silkies, actually a friend of mine, she's kept Silkies for a long time. They've got a place just up the road from me, and she came over and she bought every Silkie that I had, with the exception of a few that I gave to a friend of mine next door. But so, yeah, I don't have the Silkies anymore, but I do have the Rhode Island Reds. Child of God's in the house says, hello, late as usual, working with my buttons. Cool. Hope your buttons are doing good. And yeah, as far as being late, don't feel bad because I was really late, like 2 weeks late. Buck says, I'm fixing to order a hatching time incubator. Have you got a discount code? I do, and if you go to any of the hatching time videos on my channel, look in the description. There is a code in the description that you can enter. It's not really a code, it's a link. Click on that link, order the incubator, and you'll get, I'm not sure, I think it's 10% off. You'll have to check it when you get to the website. Ava says, I'm having him do rollouts on every level except for the bottom, and I already have a stool. Cool. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do a couple with rollouts, a couple that are flat bottom, to use as like grow-up pens. Ethan says, question, when you get quail again, are there any varieties that you're looking forward to getting? Yeah, I'm probably just going to stick with, the Egyptians. Like I said, I love the roux gene. I love mixing roux with the other colors, just see what pops out. Like the red pansies that I worked on for the longest time, I actually sold those all to, I'm trying to think, Southern Bio something farm. She's up in Tampa. She bought all the remaining Rhode Island Reds. She bought all my remaining red pansies, and she did a really nice job with them. She did a lot of selective breeding, and she's got some beautiful biophiliac. That's what it is. Southern Biophiliac Farm. Leah Koulis, I believe it is. And yeah, so she got all my red pansies, and I know she's done a really nice job of selectively breeding them for pattern and color. Jared says, I've got buttons too. I got out of Coturnix for them. Had my first 3 chicks hatch yesterday. Super tiny. Could comfortably sit on a quarter. Wow. That's tiny. James, this question, how often do you fully clean your water cups in the automatic waterers? Mine get black gunk around the spouts fairly fast. The only time I really cleaned out my watering system, I mean, I would flush them occasionally, but to do like a really in-depth cleaning would be every 3 to 6 months when I was doing my in-depth cage cleaning. And what I would do is I'd take all the cages out, pull all the birds out of it, wheel them outside, pressure wash the entire cages, disinfect them, and I did the same thing with the water system. I would fill it up, disinfect it out with bleach, flush it a couple times, and then bring it back in. I've never really had anything, any black stuff build up around them. I know some people said that they were getting like a green algae buildup in their water. I've never had that problem, so I don't know. I have the sun on the water bucket itself, so it really didn't have, the opportunity to grow algae. Libby says, generally, how many males do you keep in one cage? Well, my cages were pretty, I won't say small, but they were 2 foot by 3 foot, and I usually kept under 20 birds in their total. So usually no more than three roosters, but on average, I'm gonna say it would be two roosters and say 10 or 12 hens in that size of a cage. Bruce says, I use Rooster Booster as an occasional supplement. I've heard of people doing that. D says, breeding question, can you cross button quail with Coturnix or bobwhites or any of the others? I know I've heard of people crossing bobwhites and Coturnix, but I think that what you get is an infertile quail, infertile hybrid. I don't know of anybody that's ever crossed button quail with Coturnix, or if it's even possible. So, HP Murray's in the house. Good evening from a wet South Georgia. Glad you could join us, HP. HP is one of our channel sponsors, and we very much appreciate him. Hybrid vigor, reason I asked is that you can select for specific traits like bigger eggs, etc. Yeah, I mean, see, I don't count. I count that as selective breeding, not more of a hybrid vigor. When I think of hybrid vigor, I think of a bird that has less genetic defects due to the fact that he's crossed, two different genetic lines brought together, which would null out some issues with genetics. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but as far as selecting for specific traits like bigger eggs or better color or bigger size, that is just selective breeding. You can do that, with any line, whether it's a straight run line, say Pharaohs, or if you're crossing EB or whites or whatever with your Pharaohs, you can do that just through selective breeding. James says, I tell people that quail varieties are like the difference between a chocolate lab, a black lab, and a golden lab, not a different breed lab versus a Chihuahua. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And the bishop's in the house. His questions, why are some quail so racist? My wilds, Fiat Italians get along, but add white, Rosetta, or Tux and they get attacked, even if they were in the same hatch. I can see with the problem with the whites and the tuxedos, because a lot of times when you got a white bird, they'll have a little spot like the dotted whites. They got a dot on their head. That's basically a target, for the other birds to peck at. And everything, whether it's dirt or whatever, shows up really well on a white bird. As far as the Rosettas getting attacked, that's kind of weird. Unless maybe they're, the same sex. Maybe you've got, a couple roosters that are trying to establish their dominance and want to, take out the other one. I've even had that issues. I've had some, I'll set up breeding pens and pick roosters from the same hatch and put them in a pen with multiple hens. And sure enough, one rooster decides he wants all the hens, so he beats up the other rooster. So, yeah, I think that's something you're just going to have to kind of, cull for if you want to cull out the aggressors, or just watch them and separate them into different cages, if you want to keep them for breeding or whatnot. Baggins says, I'm sorry to ask again, but was away for a few minutes. When you breed sex links together, what do they make? Thanks. If you're talking about sex links like the Roo variety, you can breed now I know I'm going to get this backwards. I think it's a Pharaoh rooster over Egyptian hens, and you will get not all your hens will be, wait a minute. Lord, I've done it so many times and I can't even remember. It's basically being able to determine the sex of a bird by their color. So say you had a feral rooster over Egyptian hens, all your roosters that hatched out would be Egyptians, and all your hens hatched out would be pharaohs, or the other way around. I may have that backwards. You had to ask me a genetics question, didn't you? Um, we actually have a video on the channel done by um, Allie from Maine's Confetti Quail Farm. She did a whole series, but watch the one on Rue, because she goes into sex links and all that. Buck says, okay, thanks, 10% of around $900. Well, CT 180, I believe that one is. D says, I use cement paver stones, put 8-foot board across like shelves on the front of the cages, can line up all the waters that way. I can't use gravity feed waters. It's a short 6-foot tall pen. Okay. And D says, I use peat moss under the cages to help keep the poo dry. It goes into a black nursery planter, then it's topped off with dirt. Plant some kind of seeds in it. Only method I have to grow here. Really? Cool. Yeah, I used to compost all my quail manure, and it did wonders in the garden. Don's in the house. Oh, I caught you live tonight. Good evening from South Central Illinois. Glad you could join us, Don. And I'm going to try to go live Sunday. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, most of the time we do a live stream on Sunday. It's called Morning Musings. It is every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If Terry can remember one, I actually have one of our judges over on Coturnix Corner messages me every Sunday to remind me. But lately I've been kind of messing up. I get up in the morning, I get projects going before I even realize that it's Sunday, and by the time I realize it is Sunday, the live is already over with. So, Quail Ridge Ranch says, when building cages and using wood, do you think it's a good idea to use some type of wood sealer? I did on my cages. When I first built them, I used just plain pine, raw pine. And I noticed that the wood was absorbing the manure smells. And even after I cleaned the cages, there was still that manure smell in the shop. So then I went through and I painted all the exposed wood, and that helped quite a bit. And then I kind of moved over. I got away from the wood cages and went to all wire cages. And, but I did build a wooden rack system that I stored the cages in, or hung the cages in. And I painted all that. So that worked out really well. It also makes it a lot easier when you go to clean the cages, to pressure wash it. All the manure just washes right off of the painted wood. So, yes, I think it's would be a good idea to do that. Richard says, questions. I've had 2 jumbo wows that I had to put down because they seem to have balance issues. This happened about 3 weeks apart from the other 50 birds, have not shown any symptoms. Yeah, well, I mean, if it's only a couple out of 50, I wouldn't really worry that much about it. You probably had some type of a disease, or could have even been failure to thrive. They just, got weak and their balance kind of got off a little bit. But if it's out of 50 birds and it was only 2, I really wouldn't make that big of a deal out of it. Losses on numbers like that, if I lost 1 or 2 birds for every 100, I never even thought anything about it. If you start losing a lot of birds and they all have the same symptoms, then yeah, you got to start looking, at what could be causing it, what everything had in common, as far as were they all in the same brooder, were they all from the same hatch, but worry about it too much. Model T Zombie says, question, my friend said I need a small rock slab in each cage to help the bird's toenails. Your thoughts? I've never had to do anything as far as their toenails. I did put some, what do they call those things that birds peck at? it's like a calcium stone. I put that. This was a test I was doing. I put that in the cage to see if the birds would kind of keep their beaks more trimmed up, and I really couldn't tell if it did a whole lot because one, I call for any deformities like that. You know, if you got cross beak or uh, birds that grow a real long top beak versus the bottom beak, I always call them out. But yes, I have heard about putting items like that in the cage to help the birds for their beak. Not so much their toes, but whether they do or not, I don't know. Ethan says, question, if one quail's gotten bumblefoot twice on clean wire cage with areas to get off wire, do you call assuming they are more susceptible, no issues with any other birds? Yeah, probably. I mean, if it is true bumblefoot, that's a staph infection, and staph infections can be really difficult to eliminate. In that case, if you knew it was a bumblefoot, I would definitely isolate that birds from the cage that has other birds in it, because, like I say, it is easily transmissible to other birds, and it's you don't want your other birds getting a staph infection. So yes, I would call myself. But if you wanted to save the bird, it seemed, other than the foot problem, the bird seemed healthy, you could isolate it from the other birds until you got it healed up. On uncoated half-inch wire, galvanized wire, and I would put a little piece of plywood in there so they could get off the wire floor, because, like I said, I was having foot issues, and but once I went to the coated wires floor, the foot issues all went away. Gage is in the house. Says, hey, Terry, glad you could join us, Gage. Buck says, it would be like breeding a New Zealand white to a New Zealand red. It don't work. Well, you can breed it. You're just not going to get a white or a red. Let's see. Megan says, I guess I mean, what will the next generation be of the sex link? Yeah, well, like Ethan's saying, it only works on one generation as far as being able to identify. Like if you bred a feral rooster over Egyptian hens, it would be the opposite when they hatch out. But like he says, it only is going to work in that one generation. Megan, watch that video that Allie did for the channel. She goes into in depth on that, how the root gene works. Ethan says the hatchling after will be random percent unless you keep the right color appearance. Well, same percent, random qualities of male, female of each. There you go. Very good. All right. We are down to the bottom of our list, and it's already after 8 o'clock. So I better pick some winners for our... You are going to get a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate to apply towards that new incubator. And what I need you guys to do, if I call your name, I need you to email me at terry@coturnixcorner.com. I need all your shipping information. Make sure I get a good email address and a good phone number, so I can forward that on to the sponsors. There's my email address. Make sure I get all the shipping information. But anyhow, Buck Reynolds, you are getting the $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. D, you are getting Thieving Otter Farm hatching eggs. Let me see, where are we at? Okay, Deanna says the male has to be the Egyptian. Thanks, Deanna. Hold on, guys. I write slow. You're going to get some hatching eggs from Gopher Ridge. And HP will most likely include some Egyptians for you so you can work on your sex links. Okay, I need one. All right, who's still in the house? Bob Cole. Bob. Guys, I had an issue where it froze up on me. I just got a message saying that the video messed up. Megan, you were one of the winners. You're going to get some Gopher Ridge quail eggs, and I'm pretty sure that HP put some Egyptians in there so you can work on your sex link projects. Bob Cole's in the house says, howdy, folks. Glad you could join us, Bob. He says, congrats to the winner. Tater Farm says, woohoo, just got here. I'll try to get here early. One more. Deanna Dalton. Deanna is going to get some hatching eggs from Bryant's Roost. So, guys, again, email Terry at Coturnixcorner.com. Terry, Coturnixcorner.com. I need all your shipping information. That's a name, address, phone number, and a good email address to forward on to our sponsors to get you your prizes. So, guys, I am going to check for any more comments just to make sure. Tater Farm says you're unfrozen now. Yay, video messed up for me as well. Yeah, it showed it on my end. It said it. The software said that it quit. So something happened. Don says, yes, still here. You froze up. Whole bunch of congratulations. Hannah Bishop says, congrats, everyone. Megan says, thank you, Terry, and Gopher Ridge. Absolutely. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I am going to work on getting some people, some guests to join us on the show. One quick reminder, if anybody wants to come on the channel with me and be part of the farm introduction, it's a good place for you to kind of introduce yourself, your farm, show us some pictures, video, whatever, and get your name out there. Email me or message me over on Facebook, whatever, and we'll set something up and get you here on the channel. It's real simple. Basically, all you need is a computer and an internet connection, and you can be on the channel. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Next, let's see. I got to look at the calendar real quick. What's today? The 21st. Not next week's. 2 weeks from today, we'll be announcing the next Coturnix Kids program winner. You guys, Memorial Weekend's coming up, guys. So have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the 28th, the day after Memorial Day. So everyone, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.